Hello, I'm back. I haven't made an encaustic video for a while. What I thought I'd show today are some tools that I have discovered, and mainly to give me different kinds of textures, like those circular forms there, and so on. I also got a great big new pot to melt more medium in. But what I'm going to show are some tools. Everybody knows how expensive encaustic tools can be. And a lot of you probably already know about some of these. But I made my way to hardware stores and garden stores to get stuff. First of all, these rubbery gloves to pick up my handleless pots, because I don't like to use the clip-on things anymore. They slip out. I drop too much wax. Then I went to the barbecue section of local hardware store. I found this disposable grill topper. It's made out of mesh metal. Wonderful texture. They're like $1 a piece. Can't beat that. Then I found this in the kitchenware section. It is a melon baller. It's got two sides I can use to scratch with, or maybe dig out some circular forms of wax. And everybody's seen these little picky kind of things that you can get just about anywhere, mainly the dollar store. Then I found this at the garden supply. It's for digging in the ground, but I'm working on wood and I'm using a lot of thick wax, and the circular forms I was making with this other little rake were just too predictable. I wanted something bigger, so I found this, and this was about $5. Then the piece de resistance was this set here. This was for barbecuing. Since I don't do much of that, I decided to use it in here. And here's this long-handled spatula. I guess it's for picking up meat, but it's got two serrated edges. And then there is this thing with a fork. It's a fork to, I guess, spear meat. But I'll try to use that somehow. And then this, which is pretty heavy, has serrated edges. And I thought, I can make a mark that goes in and out. So let's try some of these. Let's try this one first. I don't have my assistant here today, so I've got to shift hands to make the video. This is really rough. And the wax I poured on made some layers. And they're all real. Oh, I forgot this. Got this from the hardware store. It's a four-sided thing to, I guess maybe put plaster on. Only thing wrong with this is that it's plastic itself. So I can't burn the wax off easily. It'll melt. But you can easily find these things made out of metal with the four sides, like texturing plaster. Okay, we'll try that in a minute. But first, now I've never used these, so we're going to see what happens. I'm going to put it down. I really have to use two hands, but you can see that it does scrape through the wax. And you really have to experiment. So I'll experiment with that later. I laid one of the mesh barbecue covers down to create a texture. And, oh, that's kind of interesting. Look at that. Yeah. I can pick out some of these, make it a little bit more regular. I really like that. Now the thing is, when I pulled it off, it bent, but you can always form it back, and then you can use the your heat gun to melt this wax back off into your pot. Now I had this little pile of wax here. I tried to make it a lot more thick. I'm going to see if I can do something interesting with the melon baller. I'm bring this over too at the same time. I really need my assistant here. Okay. Now the melon baller, let's see what happens when I use that. Make circular marks. Nice. With one end. And with the deeper end, I really get it out. Now I can cut it with the melon baller and then remove a circular form of wax. Excellent. And I can kind of see striations from the layers of wax I put in there. And since it's a little tough, maybe let me try digging away with it somehow. Ah, look at that. You can really see how the layers of wax kind of blend together. And I can go over that. Now this is for getting texture. It may not be what I want to use for the final end product. But I just was so concerned about the prices of those tools that I wanted to be more resourceful. And the thing about encaustic is that it is so malleable, and you can really experiment to your heart's content with it. But this is my tool. This is the thing I was really interested in using, because at work I want to work larger, and these circular marks here are fine, but they only stayed at one scale because the tool is not changeable. It's a small little rake, only maybe 1.5 inches wide. And I was looking all over for it. I can't find it. It tends to disappear in my studio. So let's see what happens here. So I put it down. Really make broad marks. And then I take the wax that's on the end and I ball it up and I put it in my gray pot. I have a pot that is all the mixtures of wax from all of these different kinds of scraping tools. I don't try to separate them back into their individual pot. That would be just too tedious. Almost as if I decided to cut out, to comb out rather my dreadlocks, and I'm not about to do that. Okay, now my last tool, let's see what this does. That wax is a little bit too hard. This is still somewhat soft. And I was really concerned about this because it's plastic and it could break. And this is getting a little messy. But that's not the point. I just wanted to show you all these different tools for getting textures. It's up to you to figure out how to use them. And it just adds more to the lexicon of how to manipulate and deal with this really wonderful medium. Bye.